Old money refers to families whose wealth has passed down through many generations without them earning it directly. These women were simply born into fortunes, inheriting everything their ancestors built decades or even centuries earlier. Families like the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, and Astors in America are classic examples of old money dynasties. Old money tends to stay quiet and understated, rarely showing off wealth through flashy or loud displays. Instead, these families invest in things that last, like land, fine art, and private education for daughters. Their wealth isn't measured by spending, but by how much they preserve for future generations ahead. The goal always stays the same: to pass even more on to the next generation than she received. New money refers to women who earned their wealth within their own lifetime, without inheriting a cent. They built it themselves, entirely from scratch, often starting with nothing but a single strong idea. Tech billionaires like Sarah Blakely and Whitney Wolfe heard fall firmly into this self-made category of wealth. So do entertainers, athletes, and entrepreneurs who grew up with nothing and turned one idea into fortune. New money is often more visible than old money, with mansions, luxury cars, and jets on display. This isn't always about arrogance, but often the natural result of experiencing wealth for the very first time. Roughly 68% of the world's ultra-wealthy today are self-made, making new money the dominant type. The tech-rich are a specific breed of new money that emerged mostly within the last 3 decades. These are the founders, coders, and engineers who built companies that completely changed how the world works. What makes them different is that their wealth often grew at a speed no previous generation had seen. A startup launched in a garage could be worth billions within just a few short years. Companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon created some of the largest fortunes in human history quickly, and she did it faster than any oil baron or railroad tycoon had ever managed before her. The tech-rich tend to live modestly compared to their net worth, still wearing plain clothes daily. They often drive ordinary cars while quietly owning everything around them without announcing their true wealth. Real estate wealth is one of the oldest and most reliable ways women have gotten seriously rich. These are women who built fortunes by buying, developing, and eventually selling property over long stretches of time. What separates the real estate rich from others is their patience, thinking in decades instead of years. They understand that land is one of the few things in the world that cannot be duplicated. Some started by buying a single small property, renting it out, then using income to buy another. Over time, that simple process compounds into truly enormous generational wealth for the women who stick with it. Real estate consistently ranks among the top 3 industries for the world's ultra-wealthy. Alongside banking and business services, celebrities, actors, musicians, and entertainers represent wealth that is uniquely tied to sudden, unpredictable fame. Their income often comes in large, sudden bursts rather than through slow, steady accumulation over decades. A single hit album, a blockbuster film, or a viral moment can generate millions almost overnight. But what separates truly wealthy celebrities from those who go broke is exactly what they do next. The smartest ones, like Rihanna and Kim Kardashian, use their fame as a launching pad to build businesses. Rihanna's Fenty Beauty brand eventually became worth more than her entire music catalog combined. By far, for celebrity wealth, fame is never really the destination. It is simply the starting capital women use. Professional female athletes earn wealth through contracts, endorsements, and for the smartest ones, smart business investments too. What makes this type of wealth unique is its urgency. Since athletic careers are naturally very short, an athlete's career often spans just 10 to 15 years of true peak earning potential total. That reality forces many athletes to think about building wealth very differently than most ordinary people do. Serena Williams is perhaps the clearest example of an athlete who understood this reality early on. Long before retirement, she built a serious business portfolio across media, ventures, and other entertainment investments. This made her far wealthier over time than her tennis contracts and prize money ever could alone. The athletes who build lasting wealth treat their playing career as a salary. then build something else. The investor rich built fortunes not by creating a product, but by putting money to work smartly. Stocks, bonds, hedge funds, and private equity are the essential tools of this particular type of wealth. She never invented a single product, yet became one of the richest women simply by studying markets. She identified great businesses early and held onto them patiently for decades without ever selling in fear. What makes investor wealth different is that it stays almost entirely invisible during its early stages of growth. The investor rich often live quietly for years, while their wealth silently compounds far in the background. Then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, the numbers become simply impossible for anyone to ignore. Cryptocurrency created an entirely new category of rich person almost overnight. Unlike anything seen before it, these are women who bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other digital currencies early, sometimes for just a few dollars. They held on long enough to see those investments multiply by thousands of times their original value. Some of the crypto rich are young women who had no traditional financial background or training at all. They simply recognized something new and took a risk that most people refuse to ever take. What makes crypto wealth different from almost every other type is how fast it appeared and vanished. Fortunes that took decades to build in real estate or stocks were built in mere months here. In some cases, those same fortunes were lost just as quickly as they had first appeared. The inheritor is different from old money in one particularly important and very specific way. She did not grow up inside a dynasty, surrounded by generational wealth and family expectation from birth. She received a large inheritance, perhaps from a parent or grandparent, and that single transfer changed everything. That one moment completely changed the entire course of her life, for better or for worse. Some inheritors go on to grow what they received, treating it with the same discipline old money uses. Others spend it quickly, completely unprepared for the responsibility of managing sudden, large amounts of wealth. Studies show a significant portion of women who receive large inheritances lose most of it within years. Managing wealth, it turns out, is a real skill, and it isn't automatically passed down with the money. The quiet rich may honestly be the most surprising type of wealthy person of all the categories. These are ordinary-looking women, teachers, mechanics, accountants, and small business owners who quietly saved for decades. They spent years quietly investing and ended up with substantial wealth that almost no one around them knew. They drive used cars, live in modest homes, and even clip coupons to save a little extra. But their investment accounts secretly tell a completely different and far more impressive story than their lifestyle suggests. A study of over 225 millionaires found the most common type was the saver investor. This is someone who never had one dramatic wealth event, but simply saved and invested daily for years. They are the least visible type of rich person, yet according to the data, one of the most common.